Hey guys, thanks for joining Learn to Play. I'm Lance. We're here at Origins 2016 with Cool Mini or Not, and we have Sean here. He's going to take us through some of their mini games that are going to be coming out at Gen Con this year. So we have Cthulhu in the House, Creo, and Looters.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about these games and maybe some of the other ones we might be seeing at Gen Con real quick, and then we're going to jump behind and I'm going to go through each one of these games so you guys can get a better look at them.
Yep, for sure. So all of these games are kind of like a new line of smaller game box that we're trying out here at Cool Mini.
Sure.
So it's a little bit different than what we're known for. We're known for the big box mini games, the big Kickstarter campaigns, which we still love, which are still our bread and butter, but we're opening up, kind of going in not a new direction, but just expanding our focus to try and reach some of the gamers that may be more interested in this style of game box, more party games or smaller games, games for families and that sort of thing as well. So each of these titles is we're excited about, and they'll be coming out at Gen Con. Other ones we were looking at are a Potion Explosion, which is a great idea for a game. You're in your last year of wizarding school, and you'll be making potions by pulling out ingredients from the slide dispenser and completing potions and getting special spells from that. And also Unusual Suspects, which is a great party game where...
That one was very fun. I had a chance to try both that and Potion Explosion. They're both great games. They're going to be very exciting. So definitely good.
We're excited about those. Yeah, for sure. Great. I'll tell you a little bit more about these games in detail.
All right.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So this is Cthulhu in the House, and it's similar to Rumble in the House or Rumble in the Dungeon, but this is our own take on it. And what's interesting about this game is the artwork is done by John Kovalik, who's famous for many, many different games. So we like that he's kind of put his own take on this game itself. So what's going on in this game is we build a house of 12 different rooms, and we fill each of the different rooms with different Cthulhu-like creatures, even Cthulhu himself. And on a turn, what happens is players are going to get these tokens, which are going to secretly indicate some creatures that are their specific creatures that they're going to try and keep in the house as long as possible. So each player is going to secretly get 2 characters, and then they're going to try and eliminate all the other characters and keep their people in the house the longest. So on a turn, what's going to happen is you can either move a character who's alone in a room to a room with another character, or you can start a fight between 2 or more characters in the same room. And when you start a fight between those 2 characters, all you have to do is simply decide between them which one of them is getting kicked out of the house. And as each character gets kicked out of the house, what's going to happen is they're going to be lined up and in the order that they're kicked out of the house, and the longer you stay in the house, the more points it's going to be worth. So one of the little twists that we have in this particular version of the game is that we've got these portals that you'll see here. And whenever there is a fight that takes place in a portal, we'll eliminate one of the guests, and then we'll flip over the portal and see what type of portal it is. So if it is a teleport portal, then that character is going to move anywhere else in the house, somewhere else into the house, and then we'll shuffle that back in, and a different one will get entered into the house here. Now, if it is one of the other portals, if it is an Abyss portal, then if this guy gets kicked out, instead, the Abyss switches that around, and in fact, it's going to be this guy that gets kicked out. And then this will get shuffled out of the game, and another one will be put back in. So just a little twist on location in the game and who gets kicked out. And you're going to play through 3 different rounds, so each of the 3 different rounds you'll get a new set of secret characters, and after 3 rounds, whoever has the most points is going to be the winner. So very simple, like a 20-minute game, but fun hidden identity and a little bit of take that element to it, which is pretty exciting. So the next game we're going to talk about is Creo, and the idea of this game, it's a cooperative game with limited communication. So similar in the same lines to something like The Grizzled. Very different theme-wise, but kind of a spiritual successor. So the idea is that we're all playing Titans, and we are trying to create a world to prove that our way of love and peace is better than violence and war. And by doing that, we are going to be playing out different levels of nature cards, trying to ultimately get down to the planet and build a planet which is going to be inhabitable and peaceful, and everything is going to be great if we can do that. So what happens is we're dealt out the entire deck of cards. Depending on the number of players, different amounts of cards are taken out. And our hands are made up of nature cards, which are going to make up the universe and the planet that we're trying to create. Element cards, which come in 4 different flavors. And then we also have these aggression cards as well that are very nasty, but we have to deal with them along the way. And on a turn, everybody is going to select the card that they want to play at the same time, and then starting with the start player, they will reveal their card, and hopefully it's got a safe place for it to be played, and so on and so forth, and everybody will reveal their card. And if it has a safe place to be played, excellent, we're going to play it out there, and if it doesn't, then unfortunately it gets discarded. So you can see that there's like a little bit of a order of operations or a tech tree here that shows you sort of how we're going to build the planet and the 4 different levels of building this planet that we're going to be working our way through. And we're going to start off with either the comet or the atmosphere. So I've got the comet out here just to show you. So this card can be played down safely to start off the game. And then the next things that are going to happen are we're going to have to complete the comet. And it tells you what elements it needs to be completed. So we would need the yellow element and the green element in there to complete the comet. So on subsequent turns after the comet was played, we're going to have to play these elements down there to complete it. And once this is completed, it tells us what 2 nature cards on the next level are freed up. So in this case, the mountain and the rainbow can now safely be played down. And then you'll have to play element cards for these to complete those. And the next level down will get us, for example, the bird and the tree are cards that we could get to from the mountain. And ultimately what we're trying to do is build a pathway down till we get to the planet and then get the 4 elements on the planet. It's not necessary for us to build out every card in every single nature card that we have, but the more nature cards that we still have possible to be played out, the more possible paths that we have to get down there. Each of these cards is unique, and so if you ever discard one of those cards, it's lost forever, and so you've cut off one of the paths that you have. Now, how does this all work out? Well, for example, if the comet card was played out there and I was the next person to play, I might be playing this yellow element card so that we could play that underneath the comet. But I might be worried that somebody else is going to be playing out one of these element cards. So we've got these energy tokens which are distributed at the start of the game. And these energy tokens are how we're going to communicate a little bit throughout the course of the game. So I can spend 1 energy token to show one player one of my cards. So I might show the next player in line that I'm going to be playing the yellow card, the yellow element card, and so that'll tell them, well, maybe I want to play the green element card so that we can finish off the comet. And that's one way that we can have communication so that we don't both play a yellow element card and then one of us is going to waste our turn in that sense. So 1 energy token allows you to show one player, 1 card from your hand. Now we might be in a situation where we've got a green element played on the comet, and in my hand maybe I've got the yellow element and the mountain card. So one of the things I might do is I might be planning to play the yellow element card in my hand, but the mountain card would be more useful in a later player's hand. So maybe what I'm going to do is another way that we can use these energy tokens is by spending 2 of them. I can exchange a card with another player, and we can't look at those cards until we've made the exchange. But if I give them the mountain card, they may understand that what I'm planning to do on my turn is play the yellow element card, and they will understand that playing the mountain card is a good move for them. So they won't know for sure if that was a good move until the cards are revealed, but that's sort of like the non-communication communication that you have to do in this game. Finally, we can spend 3 of these tokens to retrieve a discarded card. So there are ways of getting those discarded cards back into your hand, but it's quite expensive to spend 3 of those element tokens or energy tokens to get them back. So throughout the course of the game, we're trying to telegraph our moves, trying to let other players know what we're going to do, and work together as a team to go through the different levels to get to the planet. And then the planet, once it's out there, that's great, but what we really want to do is get all 4 elements onto that planet. That would be like a successful win for us. If we get some elements on the planet, it still could be considered a victory, but to a lesser degree. So we get kind of a score or a rating based on how well we develop the planet at the end of the game. And the aggression cards are cards that will be dealt out to us, and they are going to mess with the flow of the game. They're going to, for example, the Thunderbolts, they force you to discard element cards on an uncompleted nature card. So in the case of the Comet, if I played the Thunderbolt now, this card would be discarded away and we'd have to start over again with that. And the Storm of Uranus, I believe, discards every uncompleted element card on uncompleted nature cards. So they're just there to throw a monkey wrench into your plans, and you have to deal with them, you have to play them, you can't keep them in your hand by the end. But that's the idea of Creo, working together to build a harmonious planet and using the limited communication at your disposal to hopefully do it in the most efficient way possible. So the last one I want to show you guys is Looters, and Looters is a hilarious game where a evil dragon has left his mountain lair, and it's full of treasure, of course, because dragons are notorious hoarders of treasure. And so you're going to try to assemble the best squad of rapscallions you can, looters if you will, and get up into the dungeon and get as much treasure as you can out of there. So the looters are going to start off hanging out in the deck, which is the inn, which is where all adventurers hang out, as we know from many different adventure games. And what you do is throughout the course of the game, you'll have a hand of cards, which are these different looters, and you'll have a couple different turns to recruit more, which is putting more of them in your hands, or recruiting can also mean playing them down. And when you play them down, they're automatically in the dungeon, ready to try and acquire that treasure. So each looter has a health level and a strength level, and many of them also have like a special ability that's going to help them throughout the course of the game. And once you have them in the dungeon, you can activate all of them, and when you activate them, you're rolling dice, and you're always rolling as many dice as there are hearts for each individual looter. So if I activate the thief, I'd be rolling 2 dice, and what I'd be trying to do is get a number lower than their strength. That's my goal. And that's the case if I'm doing one of the 2 things that I could do with my looter. One of them is that I may search for loot within the dungeon. So searching for loot means rolling as many die as there are hearts and trying to get a number lower than my strength. And so there I've got some treasure from the dungeon there with my thief. I can also use my looters to attack other looters, other players' looters that are in the dungeon. And it works in the exact same way. I'd be rolling dice, trying to get numbers lower than my strength, and that would be a successful attack on another player's looters. And they would have to discard or sacrifice that looter as I destroyed them. So you play through a number of different rounds. In between rounds, if you have more than 3 looters, you'll sacrifice one out. Sometimes they'll say something like, as a last wish, you may draw 2 cards. So when you have a last wish, that means as the looter is killed or sacrificed, you get some kind of special ability. As they're going out of the dungeon onto a better place, you get some special ability that goes along with it. You have a hand limit of 10. And then a looter limit of 3 in between the rounds. And then it's just a battle. You're either going to attack the other player's looters, or you're going to be using your looters to search the dungeon, trying to collect as much loot as possible. And the game is going to end with a certain amount of loot collected, depending on the number of players. So very silly fun. This game plays out in about 20 minutes. It's for 2 to 6 players, and it's great when there's 6 players in there, just like ridiculous, chaotic fun. Everybody going after the loot, knocking each other out of the dungeon, and you know, you never know what kind of combination of looters you're going to get that's going to work out for you. So yeah, another really good one that we're excited about.
All right, so thank you, Sean, for showing us these great games. I'm really excited about them. I had a chance to play a couple of these myself, and let me tell you, they are great games, and there's a lot more coming from Cool Mini or Not as well, so stay tuned for those. I will be doing full playthrough videos of these probably a little bit after Gen Con, so stay tuned for those. And thanks again, Sean.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks
you guys
for
have a good
coming
day.
out. Thank you.